Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Multiplex Loves Movies. This is episode number 29. We've got an all-star panel here for you tonight. Start off with Multiplex Loves Movies, regular Maggie. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
Are you?
I am.
That was not convincing. I am good. I am good. But anywho, okay, great. Maggie's good. That's fantastic. Let's move on to the next one. Producer extraordinaire Kaleb Koho. How you doing?
I'm good. This is gonna be fun. Some news came out today that is less than desirable, and we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. Boatman, hello. How are you? Welcome back to the show.
I'm here. I'm on the show again. I'm becoming more of a regular on this show, and I like that.
Yes, let's do that. Yes. Every episode that you are on, you get one step closer to getting my voodoo password. It's very exciting. Let's get into it right away. If you've never seen the show before, this is how it works. We're a movie news show. One might say we're the premier movie news show on YouTube. And we are going, every week we start off with the box office from the weekend before. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So last weekend, Sonic the Hedgehog in its second weekend, making another 26.2 million. Newcomer Call of the Wild in at number 2 with 24 million. Good for that movie. Birds of Prey sticking around in the top 5 at number 3 with another 7 million. Bad Boys for Life still hanging out in the top 5 with another 5.8. And Brahms the Boy 2, or just as I like to call it, Brahms, opened at number 5, 5.82, just underneath Bad Boys. This is pretty much a very, it's kind of a predictable weekend, I think, at the box office. I don't think anything's too out of place here. If you would have told me that number 1 and number 2 would have switched, I wouldn't have been too surprised, but, it is what it is. I think it's very interesting. Last weekend, or was it last weekend? Yeah, last weekend is when Sonic came out. So, we had a bunch of new openers last weekend, and they're pretty much all gone. Fantasy Island, out. The Photograph, out. Downhill, out. All last week did not hold on in the slightest. I think that's interesting. Good for Call of the Wild. Some people are saying that it's a bomb. I think 25 million is pretty good. I guess the budget was huge. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'm looking for it right now. 135 million. Okay, so maybe it is a bomb. 135 million is a rough budget to come back from. But yeah, I actually didn't see anything this weekend. Nothing. Not a single one. Not a single new movie crept on my eyes. That's saved for later this week. I'll start with Koho. How do you feel about the box office?
Yeah. I'm assuming the $135 million budget on Call of the Wild was for Terry No Terry to walk around like a dog.
Yeah.
I think Call of the Wild would have done better if it was actually just the footage of Terry No Terry in the polka dotted suit and Harrison Ford just petting his face and throwing him bones. I would have seen that movie.
Yes.
But I didn't see anything new. Yeah, no, that all just kind of. I think the drop from number 2 to number 3 is really surprising. With it being a 20 million to 6 million, is kind of like nothing. Like really, no one was seeing anything else besides the top 2. But it's cool to see Sonic at number 1 again. This was definitely the last week where it's number 1. So,
yeah, oh for sure. Boatman, what about you?
I'm just sad that everyone's going to see a movie about a blue rodent instead of going to see one of the most delightful comic book movies of the last like year, because I really had a good time with Birds of Prey, and it really makes me sad that this movie's not doing well, because I really like Birds of Prey more than a lot of people did, and I'm just sad. Like, I'm the guy who hates comic book movies. That's what I get made fun of on this show. And the one time I actually really like a comic book movie, it doesn't make any money. So I'm just sad. I would also just say that why did they make Fantasy Island a movie? Like, that was an awful TV show. So I don't know why that even exists, but oh well.
Well, which one? You don't like the one with Malcolm McDowell where he's walking around going, "Welcome to Fantasy Island"? You don't like that?
Malcolm McDowell's on. I know the Ricardo Montalban one. I don't know the.
There's another one with Malcolm McDowell.
You have to forgive him. He's a 3,000-year-old reptilian man.
I was probably in hibernation during that time.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Maggie, what about you? Your thoughts on the box office? Are you surprised that Birds of Prey is still kind of meh? Are you surprised that Call of the Wild didn't do better?
I mean, I've been surprised that Birds of Prey didn't do better. It honestly shocked me at how little money it made. Especially like because I don't really understand why that happened. I'm also a little bit sad for Call of the Wild. I kind of wanted it to do better, and hearing you say that it's a bomb because of the extensive budget is depressing. But it's interesting because this is one of the first movies to come out post merger, and it's like wondering so how much of the marketing campaign did Disney run? Probably most of it. This is probably one of the first ones where they ran most of it, where like with Dark Phoenix, Fox ran a lot of it. So it's sort of interesting to see how that whole thing, like where they're trying to market a movie they didn't make, plays out. And I think that they're going to be working through those kinks for another couple of years. But yeah, we like you said, we haven't seen it, but I want to. And it clearly still fought, considering that it's really close to the top. But the fact that the number one is second and it made more, its second week and it made more is kind of telling as well.
Yeah. How does the group feel about the fact that Brahms, The Boy 2, cost $10 million to make? And right now, it's sitting at $8.3 million worldwide.
I would like to say that I think the reason this movie isn't making any money is because it is not about the German music composer Johann Brahms, because that's what it should have been about. That's fair.
That's totally fair. I agree. Koho, you look like you are in a daze. Are you maybe frozen?
Brahms is a movie?
Brahms, The Boy 2, remember?
Oh, right. This is the thing that Robert went off about 20 minutes last week saying something about a man that lived in a wall. This is why? Cool? Sure. Here's some money. People like horror in February, right?
Maybe.
I guess.
Also, fun fact, another movie that opened in 357 theaters this weekend, Impractical Jokers, the movie.
They made that a movie?
It made $2.7 million in 350 theaters. That's actually pretty impressive. I don't know shit about Impractical Jokers, but
I did not know.
Good for that, I guess. The average gross was $7,000 a theater, so that's actually not terrible at all. But anywho, that was the box office. What an exciting time to be alive. Let's move into the main topic of the day, which wasn't going to be today, but then life has a way of punching me when I'm down, and yet again, it has happened. Bob Iger is leaving. That's not true. He's not leaving Disney. He's calling it quits on being the CEO, on being the big man, on being that chief executive. He's no longer CEO. A new CEO has been named, and I'm pulling up their name right now.
Apparently, Kane has thoughts on this from earlier today.
Is Kane here? Get him in. I would love to have him on the show.
It's because he's the parks director.
Yeah, I'll message him and see what he thinks, like exactly what his thoughts were.
Sure. So Bob Chapek, who has most recently served as a chairman of the Parks Experiences and Products, will assume the role of CEO. Iger is staying on to focus on as a board member to focus on creative strategy through the end of 2021. So he's not leaving the company altogether, but he is leaving his spot as CEO. But he is going to be working with he's going to be working with the new CEO. So I'll start with Maggie. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, at first I was kind of shocked, but then after reading through this whole article, it sounds like this has been a long time coming. That he had always planned to step down at the end of 2021. Really was like the final time, like they talked about, that he really like has been talking about retiring for a long time. Like he's been the CEO since 2005, so like that's a long time. That's 15 years. It's a long time to keep such a coveted position like that. And he really has done like a lot of things, so I can see where he's kind of like, yeah, I've accomplished all my goals, guys. Like, and I can also understand why they would do it this way instead of him just straight up leaving, where he like still serves as the board chairman and can help this new person like get it together and like establish a business plan before completely walking away. So that makes sense to me.
Boatman, I don't know how you feel about this. What are your thoughts?
I don't have like super duper strong opinions on this. Like, I think Bob Iger as a CEO has made some really good decisions about movies I like and really dumb decisions. So I don't know. From the way that Kane is talking about this new guy, this isn't a great sign. But we will see. I think Bob Iger is he took the Disney company in at least a better direction, I think. So we will see.
And kind of saved the company.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Koho, give me your thoughts.
My personal thoughts are, I think Iger really knows what he's doing, or knew what he was doing when he did kind of save Disney in its creative direction and like put them back in like a renaissance. And it's kind of hard. It's kind of rough to see him go because like he's kind of the guy who like helped engineer like Disney getting Marvel, Disney getting Star Wars, some of the biggest purchases of the Pixar, like of the century so far. Really, like the biggest purchase is Fox Disney. He kind of engineered that. And that's crazy. So it's like it's a well-deserved break if this like or leaving. Like if this is what he wants to do. Like he's been here for over 10 years. It's a really hard job. Taking the step back and like it's not like, and from what I like read of it, it's not like he's totally out, like he's just cold turkey leading. Like he is helping transition the next person in. Kane is currently messaging me why this new guy is not good for the job as we speak. So I'll get you his thoughts once they are finished typing.
Awesome. So yeah, no, I have to agree kind of with Koho and Maggie. I think that Iger is an incredible businessman. I think not only those acquisitions that Koho was talking about, but also just getting Disney into like the streaming wars in general with Disney Plus and how successful that was. I do agree he's made a lot of weird decisions that like don't really make sense to me from time to time, specifically about movies. Like, why did we release Solo in May, 3 weeks after your biggest movie of all time, Infinity War? Like, I still that will never not be weird to me. But in the end, you know, it is what it is. I think that he's done weird stuff with Star Wars, but overall, the guy's a genius. I think. If I read books, I would read his, but I don't. So I'll wait until they make a documentary or something about him, and then I'll watch that.
Give it like 2 months, we'll get a Disney Plus Imagineering story style documentary about him, and I will watch the shit out of it.
Absolutely, I would. Is Kane still typing?
He's giving me a fucking essay right now.
All right, well, that's good.
I mean, I'm not sure what he's gonna say, but like, it sounds like this guy really only has parks experience, where like a part of Bob Iger's big thing has been direct to consumer stuff, like the Disney Plus, and he has like zero experience with that or with film. So that can be kind of concerning when it's like two of your biggest pillars of your business.
And
so
Kane has a lot of like, that's what he works in, is parks. So like, I think he's gonna give us some insight as to like why he's bad with the part of the thing he already works with, is what I'm assuming is coming. So that's vote of confidence.
But whatever he says, I mean, he's clearly not that bad at it, because if he's the director of the parks for Disney, he probably did something right to get that job at least.
Or he just like made the right people happy. Like that sometimes happens.
I mean, he made a Star Wars land, so how bad can
true.
it be?
The picture I saw of him, he was looking pretty derpy in front of the Millennium Falcon. So that's
we can come back. We can come back to Kane's thing because it's taken a while.
Yeah.
Okay, we will. We're gonna move on to the next topic, which is moving over to a different type of park, and that is Jurassic World has a title. The new one. It has a title. It's called Jurassic World Dominion. And also, Chris Pratt says it's going to be like the Avengers Endgame of the Jurassic franchise. As somebody who likes these movies a lot, I live with someone who loves these movies. I'm excited about this. Apparently, everyone and their mother's coming back. We got Sam Neill and Laura Dern and Goldblum all returning. And then you also, apparently the kid who played Tim in the original was like, you might be seeing me on the big screen. Oh, there you go. I should probably know that.
You gotta know these things.
All right. Well,
manager of the year right there.
This is gonna be a big movie, and they started shooting today. Give us that title, Dominion. Boatman, what are your thoughts on this?
I have a conspiracy theory ready.
Oh, let's fucking go, Reptilian Man.
I think that this is actually going to be part of another shared universe, right? So I think that midway through the movie, a portal is going to open up, and Owen and Alan and all of them are going to see through this portal some characters from another Universal property, actually.
Oh no!
What is the title of the movie? What is the title of the movie, guys?
Jurassic World Dominion.
Take away the dough. And add an Jurassic World Minions.
Oh my god.
Bob, Stuart, Kevin, they're all going to be coming through that portal, right? And this is where we get the Illumination Universal Extended Universe, because then we're going to have a post-credit scene where Danny DeVito as the Lorax, he's not animated this time. He's not going to be animated. He's going to just be Danny DeVito in a Lorax suit. And he's going to be there along with Russell Brand Bunny from Hop. And then, because Illumination is doing the new Shrek movie, Shrek is going to come out and say, I want to talk to you about the Illumination Initiative. And then cut to black. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
I just want to see Danny DeVito in a Tusk-like Lorax suit. That's all I want now.
That's the interesting pitch. Interesting pitch.
You hear this man in Universal, hire him.
I could be the new Bob Iger. I could be.
It could be me.
I'll buy the minion.
Yikes.
I will buy people to dress up as minions.
This is terrible.
Oh my god. All right. So I thought that was going in a totally different direction. Maggie, you love these movies talking.
Yes. I'm very excited to have everyone come back. I think comparing it to Endgame is stupid, because just because you have a bunch of people coming back does not make it Endgame.
But he was in Endgame.
Yeah, so everyone, it's dumb. Don't make that comparison. I hope that with the people coming back, because everyone was like, oh, Jeff Goldblum's going to be in Fallen Kingdom. And then literally they used his voiceover for the marketing. And then he was in one trailer doing that exact same, or one scene doing that exact same thing. So I hope that they have like more to do. Like they bring them back for a reason, which based on where the last one left off, I could see how that would be much easier to pull off in this one. Dominion is an interesting title. It makes sense because of, again, what happened at the end of Fallen Kingdom. And I'm very excited. You know that, I don't know if everyone watched this, but I've seen it twice now. The Battle at Big Rock short was awesome. And it like totally set up where the world is after the real big F up that they had in Fallen Kingdom. And I am like very excited to to see how that all happens and how they're going to solve it, because let's be honest, they can't solve it. So we'll see if they come up with a good story.
How do you feel about the fact that that movie will come out after you have graduated law school?
It's a little stressful, Tim, but it seems that Jurassic World movies tend to like mark important moments in my life, so that's fine.
There you go. I don't know what was so important about summer 2015, but
It's right before I started at Marquette, Tim.
wow, magical. Anywho, Koho, do you give a shit about this?
This movie sounds dope. I did not like the last one that much. I thought it was a little boring. There were cool ideas, but that ending, I was like, let's go. I hope we get like a Planet of the Apes universe with like dinosaurs. Give me people trying to survive a world where the dinosaurs are in control. And then we got Battle at Big Rock, and that short slaps. I've watched that thing at least 3 times. That's like I hope that's what this entire movie feels like. Because like that's something interesting and new that we can do instead of just go back to Isla Sorna, go back to Isla Nublar, go back to all the places that we've seen at least 4 times already with characters we have already seen in different combinations. Like, put them all together on the mainland in a world they're no longer in control of, and that sounds super fun. So I'm all in on Dominion.
All right. Do we have an update from Mr. McMillan?
Still typing.
Yeah.
We're getting an earful.
All right. Well, we'll move on to something that actually does involve Bob Iger, and that's Sony has come to their senses, in my opinion. There is Sony executive, I don't remember which one it was, forgive me, because I'm terrible at my job, but they said they're glad they worked it out and that they think Spider-Man's going to be in the MCU for a long time. This is good news. This is great news. I'm very, very excited. So, the thing that I am not excited about with this is if you've watched the show, you know I hated the trailer for Morbius. I didn't love Venom, but it was like, oh, this is a spin-off movie, like whatever, it's a nothing, whatever. Well, word on the street is Spider-Man's going to be in Venom 2, and oh, word on the street is not word, we saw it. Michael Keaton's in Morbius. Are these movies in the MCU now? Are they retroactively behind the scenes being like, oh yeah, Venom's part of the MCU? Because then I got to move where it is on my Blu-ray shelf. I need answers, Sony, and I'm very upset about it. Koho, your thoughts on the Sony Spider-Man thing going on for a while?
So, like, I like the idea of Tom Holland staying in the MCU, but I don't want Sony's stuff coming in the MCU, so I have a compromise. I think this is an idea that Sony should take. People have nostalgia for their versions of Spider-Man. So you can make Spider-Man movies that aren't in the MCU. Like, make Venom 2, and the Spider-Man that shows up is Andrew Garfield. Make Morbius, and the Spider-Man that shows up is Tobey Maguire. Like, they can be those Spider-Mans from the perspective of new characters at a different time in those universes. And then eventually, at some point, you can do Spider-Verse. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man can come from the MCU and show up with the others. But it's not his world has to go with him sort of thing. You know, like, I think people would turn up to Venom 2 if they knew Andrew Garfield was in this movie. People would turn up to Morbius if they knew Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, is back in that movie. You know, it's different.
And then eventually a portal opens up and Danny DeVito
Danny DeVito's goddamn Lorax shows up and says, "I speak for the trees." I think it's an avenue to explore for that.
I don't disagree. I think that's an interesting thing. It's just they've already, like, you already got Keaton in the trailer for Morbius, so like I think the big thing here is we need to see Morbius. I don't think the movie looks particularly good. I think it looks like Sony trying to do Blade again, but they don't have the rights anymore. Sony did Blade, right? Am I not crazy? They did Blade.
No, New Line did.
Oh, okay, so no, okay, yeah. Okay, so never mind. But anyway, it looks like they're trying to do a version of Blade. I don't like it. I don't think the trailer's very good, but I am excited about Tom Holland staying. Boatman, what about you?
Am I frozen? Am I good?
No, you're good.
Okay, I can't see or hear you guys. Well, I can hear you. I can't see you guys, but that's okay. I am actually like, I like the idea of. I don't really like the idea of Venom or Morbius being in the MCU just for trivia reasons, but like I like the idea of Spider-Man like staying in the best Spider-Man we've ever had because he's the best at capturing both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
I definitely agree. Yeah, like Tom Holland is by far the best version. I think we were talking about this the other night. We were ranking our Spider-Man movies, and he's by far the best. Maggie, what are your thoughts on this? Have you even seen the Morbius trailer?
I haven't, but you told me about it. So I agree with what's been said regarding we love Tom Holland in the MCU. We don't want Morbius or Venom to be in the MCU. I think my big idea for Sony is sell your rights, guys, because you're hurting everyone. But the problem is now that this whole fiasco happened over the summer, they know that they have a huge bargaining chip with Disney. And so they're never going to sell. And I'm sure that the reasons that like there's rumors that these movies are going to be in the MCU or might have ties to the MCU is because of this new deal that they struck. Like and that just is really frustrating because Marvel can't really control the level of quality of these Sony movies when Sony has all the power. And I don't want to see them ruin, like I loved Michael Keaton in Homecoming, and I don't want to see that character ruined because Sony decided to use him. And so I really hope that there isn't that much crossover. I think it's much better if you keep them separate. And if you really do need another Spider-Man, I mean, I guess, I don't know. They've put themselves in a really hard position. I think both the MCU and Sony, to be completely honest. And as much as Koho's idea sounds interesting, there's no way that will ever happen. Andrew Garfield is never going to play Spider-Man again. You could not pay him enough money to do that. And Tobey Maguire is old. So that's no offense, Koho, but that's never going to happen. I think that they should stick to things like Spider-Verse where it's animated and they can just make their whole new world and like it doesn't matter when they try to like set up Venom. Like Venom has to have somebody to fight against, like hero-wise. Like I guess he doesn't have to because obviously Venom did well.
They have someone. They have Cletus Cassidy. They have Carnage.
Right, they must just do that. Like, just don't bring Spider-Man into Venom. Like, please don't. Because no matter what you do, you're going to ruin it.
I would also just point out, Kane just finished his thing also, but I would like to point out though that like even though Tobey Maguire is older, it doesn't mean we're picking up right where Spider-Man 3 left off. I think it'd be kind of fun to come back Force Awakens style into a universe that's a lot older and different than when we left it, but Spider-Man's like an experienced Spider-Man sort of thing.
Too bad Tobey Maguire's a terrible actor.
He is.
That would be painful to watch.
Yeah, terrible Spider-Man, terrible actor that I wouldn't want to see come back. But I'm saying there's people who have nostalgia for that would show up for that.
Sure.
Yeah. I think you have Spider-Verse. It won Oscars. People love the movie. Why not go crazy wild in that universe where none of us would bat a fucking eye? But it seems like they're trying to work with Disney, but also compete with them at the same time. Right. It doesn't really make sense to me. Yeah. So let's move on. Let's get Kane's reaction to this Disney business.
From the desk of Kane Bartholomew McMillan the 17th.
Wow.
So Chapek, he was the guy who ran the entire park, showed up after 2016 following Tom Saggs. In parentheses, this is important. When Iger was supposed to step down in 2016, but didn't, Saggs left the company and Chapek took over. Saggs had already started Galaxy's Edge and Avengers Campus, but it was Chapek who was supposed to finish it. And well, Galaxy's Edge has happened, and I was there today, and the land itself is great, and I haven't ridden Rise, but I have ridden Smugglers, and both are e-ticket attractions and very popular. They break down every day, and since it's opening for hours at a time, they rushed Rise. And here at Walt Disney World to get it done before Disneyland so they could get the Hollywood crowds to come in, but it doesn't work. Here's the thing. Disneyland was working on their Rise before we started ours, so them rushing it was cutting corners just so that Chapek could make more money for Disney. Chapek also cut back on the entertainment that Disney had. Like a lot of Galaxy's Edge was supposed to have a lot of entertainment, and he cut all of it out because why do we need entertainment when we have our cast members? It's a cheap way of saying I got rid of the actual entertainment that was supposed to be there. And also every other week there's more entertainment cuts. Like Bo Peep and Frozone just got the boot like last week. Jack Sparrow and Snow White only meet in the mornings now in Magic Kingdom. Peter is stupid hard to see. Is Peter Pan is stupid hard to see. Allison guest. Sorry, this is really choppy language. Allison guests on are out less now too. Actually, so I guess the actual point that you care about is that Chapek cares more about money than the actual most important thing about Disney, and that's the magic. His biggest accomplishment are honestly from riding the coattails of Tom Sags. He doesn't really care about the guests, but more about the cheapest ways to do things to save on money. But this is a multi-billion-dollar company. He's essentially the opposite of Walt, and as a cast member, someone who goes to the parks all the time, and more importantly, as a Disney shill, having him become a CEO is an actual disgrace to Walt, Roy, and Mickey.
Yikes.
Okay. There was something I didn't know about that makes me furious. I don't know how many of you know this, but a couple almost a month ago, maybe a couple months ago now, I don't know, but I went to Disney World. I went to the Hollywood Studios in Disney World, and the person who plays Frozone is fantastic. He was very funny. Delight. I went up to him and said, "Where's my super suit?" He was like, come here. And then like pointed to where it was just funny. Like he was like, there's the super suit. It was a charming person. So this person should now be banished to an island for firing him. Hashtag justice for Frozen.
Yikes. Woof. I'm sure we'll hear more as the story develops, but Kane, thank you for your message. It's good to have that. Oh my God. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. Still staying in the Disney realm because honestly, guys, there wasn't a lot of news this week and I had to pick from scraps. And so what we're going to talk about next is Mulan. It's coming to theaters later in March. And it gets a PG-13 rating. It's the first PG-13 for one of these live-action remakes. It's the first PG-13 Disney movie in a while, in a minute, maybe since like Saving Mr. Banks. Like it's been a minute. So what do we think? I mean, does this mean the movie is going to be pretty intense as far as like the action sequences go? I'm excited about it. We'll have to wait and see the movie, but Boatman, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a PG-13 is necessarily, I think the MPA and the ratings are super like just weird and subjective. Like Saving Mr. Banks did not need to be PG-13. I don't understand why that movie was PG-13.
Probably the alcohol.
It was probably Pirates 5, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. But like, so I don't quite know what effects this is going to have. To me, darker doesn't always necessarily mean like better. But like this does mean they're probably going in at least a different direction than the original movie, which is good because I don't think remakes should just be carbon copies.
Yeah. Maggie, what about you?
Yeah, no, I'm honestly not surprised based on the trailers that we've seen regarding like the amount of fighting and violence. Like I feel like you can't have like battlefield fights like that and not get a PG-13 rating. Like I'm trying to think of a Disney live action movie that had like actual like battles with like swords and guns and stuff that didn't have a PG-13 rating. Like I can't imagine that you do that now with a PG rating. Like when the furniture fought each other in Beauty and the Beast, it was different because they were furniture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Justice for furniture violence.
Listen, the cabinet is still a person, Mackie.
Exactly.
I can't imagine that this is going to turn that many people away, to be completely honest. Like, all the Star Wars movies have been PG-13. All of the MCU movies have been PG-13, and people still take their very young kids to go see them.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think that it's going to be an issue in terms of attracting people. If anything, it's going to help attract people like us who are like really unsure, and they're like, oh, PG-13, maybe it'll be like what, I don't remember if it was Boatman or I think it was Boatman, just said that like that means it's probably more interesting and it's something different. So yeah, I think it's a good thing ultimately.
Koho, does this matter to you at all?
I don't give a flying fuck about Mulan. I've made this very clear. I just don't. I don't care about the 90s version. The songs are fine. The movie itself is boring as shit. And I'm not interested for the live action because they took away my favorite part of the original, which was the music and Mushu. So I'm not interested.
I was not aware of this opinion.
I think Mulan is the most
kind of
overrated
amazing.
Disney movie ever. I think Mulan's the most overrated Disney movie. Or it's
You're
up
the most
there.
overrated Disney movie ever.
It's up there with Pinocchio for me as like what's the most overrated. So
it's a little ridiculous. Can't wait till we all see it together and you love it.
I will walk out of it and I will legitimately Beauty and the Beast it where I go, that's better than the 90s and you all hate me.
Okay.
We're gonna watch it.
You kept denying that you said that.
I said that,
You
but I don't
have
hold that
that
opinion
opinion?
anymore. No, I don't hold that
Oh
opinion
my God.
anymore.
But
I did when I first saw
and
it.
then I said that you used to have that opinion. You gaslighted me and acted like I didn't.
Jesus.
Listen here, you reptilian fuck. You're probably thinking of the person you talked to in the 20s
Can
when
we,
the
like-
original Beauty and the Beast book came out, okay?
Bring down the reptilian fuck language, please. That's kind of aggressive. We are a family show.
Wait, are we?
I guess
I wasn't aware.
To me, we are. I try not to
if-
swear.
Is this
Mother
Maggie's
Maggie-
way to try and say,
Oh.
be nice?
Yes, we're all friends.
Okay, fair.
Except for the never mind, that doesn't matter.
Oh my god, this is great.
All right.
This is a great
Yikes.
show.
That's literally
I love it. Cody's like, don't try and put a family friendly rating on your list sucks.
I'm not
I'm so
on your
sorry
list
to
of
the-
sucks, so.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry to the podcast listeners who have no idea what the fuck is going on. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Again, it's semi a Disney story, but it's mostly not. We're talking Fox, specifically Planet of the Apes, a glorious franchise. Return to I like that title. Let's do that. There's going to be a fourth Apes movie, a new Apes movie from Fox / Disney, and they've confirmed it is not going to be a reboot. It is going to be a continuation from War for the Planet of the Apes. And it's going to be directed by Wes Ball, who did the Maze Runner trilogy. I think he, say what you will about those movies, I think he's very good at handling action sequences. And I think that the performances that he got out of the actors in those movies were really good. I think the storylines and stuff of those movies are kind of meh, but I think that he did a very good job directing those three movies. They feel not so YA dystopia and a little bit more, they feel more real to me. So I'm excited about this. Obviously Reeves couldn't return. I probably wouldn't even want to see Reeves return. But yeah, no, this is exciting. I'm pumped about it. Koho, I'll go to you first. What do you think about this?
I really wish this wasn't a sequel. I'm not gonna lie. After rewatching War recently, that's the most perfect end to that Caesar trilogy, and I don't really. The movie sort of ends in a way where I feel like we're about to move right back into the first '60s Planet of the Apes story, and it all cycles through again. Where it's like now we've connected the prequel up to where the original movie would start within the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years ish. And it's like, I don't feel like I need another story in that period with Cornelius or anyone really. And it's just, I'm not really interested in where those characters go next necessarily. I mean, you could come up with something cool. I guess nothing about it really sells me. I would rather this be a reboot and go with a totally different take in the Planet of the Apes now. Go somewhere different into the Planet of the Apes, a different story, a different set of people. But I don't know.
I don't disagree with you. I hate to break it to you though. The 1968 Planet of the Apes takes place in the year 3700. So I don't think we'd get there in a couple years after.
Fair, but you know what I mean? Is like,
but I get what you mean. I think
that
this could be kind of what you were pitching with Spider-Man. You do something that, even though it's only been, when did that movie come out? 2017. So it's only been a few years since it came out, but you do something that's set 20 years ahead. So maybe now Cornelius, the son of Caesar, is the leader. You still got Maurice kicking fucking ass, but you do
better.
You do a new story It doesn't necessarily have to be like a human-centric thing. It could be, but yeah, I'm excited about it still. I don't think it needs to be a direct sequel in the sense that it's like it picks up a year after or whatever. But I think you could definitely do something that's a little bit out. Every Apes movie, there is a bit of time lapse between them. I think you could definitely do that. Even in Rise alone, it covers the span of almost 10 years. So, okay, let's move over to Maggie. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree that it's fine with me if it's like in this world, like it's following war, but it's not like exactly following war. Like we could find is it Cornelius, the youngest son? He could be an adult now and he could be like leading the group and like his whatever he's doing, and all of a sudden the humans can speak with their minds, sort of thing, just bring it back to Beneath the Planet of the Apes. I kind of just hope that they wait a little bit, like, because War was so great and the trilogy generally was just awesome. I don't want it to be like sullied by them trying to put as much money out of it as possible, just by capitalizing on this love for it. I think that they need to take the time to develop a really good story and something that's worth telling, unlike the first like Apes 2 through 5. So I hope that they just don't make that mistake again.
Yep. Bowman, what about you?
Yeah, I think that this could like probably move us closer to like the Heston Apes, but not like quite there yet. And I think that could be kind of interesting to see more of like the in between times in that. But I don't know how I feel about Wes Ball directing, if I'm being 100% honest. Like I like parts of the Maze Runner movies, but I also don't love the action in that. I think the actions it's a little like too like dark, like, and I mean like not dark as in like edgy, I mean dark as in like literally poorly lit. And I'm not just a big fan of that. I like well lit action scenes, which is why I enjoyed Birds of Prey. I think that it's also just I really, really enjoyed War. I think War is one of the best like sci-fi epics of like the last 10 years. So it kind of disappointed me that they're not just letting it cap off on that, but I'm going to keep an open mind to when the movie actually comes out, because if it's good, it's good. I'm just skeptical.
Yeah. I can understand the skepticism. It makes sense. I haven't been let down by this new iteration yet, and maybe we could get a new trilogy. It doesn't like that is separate but still in the world, a la new Star Wars or the prequels or The Hobbit or whatever. Hopefully not in quality, but in spirit. Okay, we're gonna move on to the final topic, which is what we do at the end of every show, is just talk about the movies coming out next week. There is one wide release this weekend, and that is The Invisible Man, and apparently it's real good. Apparently it's one of the best horror movies in a long time, and Leigh Whannell, who I very much enjoy as a director from Upgrade, I'm excited about this. It's got like a 90% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Not a huge fan of Elizabeth Moss, but I also haven't seen like Handmaid's Tale, so like I've only seen limited stuff of her, but the stuff I've seen I haven't been super impressed, but I'm excited about this. Koho, what about you? You gonna go see this?
Oh, definitely. I like the concept from the trailer, like the take on what they're doing with a modernized Invisible Man, sort of what you can do with that idea. It looks really cool and spooky. Elizabeth Moss is pretty good. She's very good in the movie Her Smell. I don't like the movie. I know Jake's going to crucify me for that. I don't like the movie Her Smell, but I think that she's great in it. She's also pretty good in Us, and that's really all I've seen of her. So I think she looks pretty good in this trailer, and that she's probably going to be really solid. It looks good. I'm excited to see it. Not a horror guy, so I'm hoping to be impressed.
Boatman, Invisible Man, yes or no? The first one came out when you were born?
Yes. The first one is actually one of my favorite horror movies of all time, but it seems like they're going for actually kind of a similar direction, but kind of taking away the more humorous elements and making it more of like just this really like going straight horror, but like psychological horror. And I really like that element where she doesn't know if she's crazy or not. And I really like that. I like horror movies where the real terror is what you don't see. And that's what The Invisible Man is. It's real terror that you can't see. So I really like that. I like psychological horror. I think Elizabeth Moss is an incredibly interesting actress. So I'm actually excited to see this one. Yeah.
All right, Maggie, what about you?
It looks scary. So I'm not excited about that because the trailer was full of jump scares and I don't like jump scares. They make me scared. So we'll see how that goes since you're going to make me see it. But yeah, I mean, I'm always here for good horror movies. So
Cool. All right. Well, guys, we did it. We did another episode. Let's go around and wrap things up by talking about what's coming up at Multiplex. But actually, before we do that, Maggie, I'll just let you plug your wonderful Letterboxd and everything first.
Oh yeah, because I do nothing important otherwise other than be here. So you can find me on Letterboxd at May24 Maggie, I think, and then my Twitter is May24. It's one or the other. Either way, they're connected, and you'll find me. I'm on those places.
All right, Boatman, what's going on in Warzone this week?
What's going on in Warzone this week is we got a couple good matches coming up. We have a triple threat match between Adam Collins, Cameron Holtzman, and Andrew Barr. The winner plays myself. We also have Wild Stallions going up against Con of the Dead. That is Brian and Joseph versus Jay Burns and Mark Meyer. Trying to think of what the third match is, but I can't quite remember what it is. So, no, it isn't. Never mind.
You're close.
I'll go look it up, and I will have it before we end.
Koho, I don't know what's going. Cody's not here, so what's happening on your list?
Tomorrow on your list sucks. This dude is hosting. It's Overrated Classics. We are an hour later than normal, so tune in at we're doing 10 EST now.
And I have the panel. Can I reveal the panel?
Reveal the panel, good sir.
The panel is going to be three people who know their classics and have some hot takes. It is the very popular Jeremy Adams, Kurt Kalakowski, Mr. Overrated. Not that he's overrated, but thinks a lot of movies are overrated. And Andrew Barr, the Music Man.
Lovely. So I'm going to be very, 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 very upset at this list. But also in the world of fandom.
The other match is F.U. Lucas versus Wear Your Destiny.
Perfect. There you go.
Entity. That's
in the world of fandom, it's time. We have had both title belts vacant since the start of the season. We are filling them this weekend. Sunday, the team's title will go up. Mischief Managed versus Necronomicon for the team title. And on Monday, this guy is playing for the Fandom singles title against Dominic Rizzi. Tim Brzakala, Dominic Rizzi is going to be a really good one. You don't want to miss either of them. So those are coming up Sunday, Monday.
I can't even
both our titles filled.
I can't even fake an emotion about it because it hasn't been shot yet. So I can't even fake the I don't know if I won or not, because I don't know if I've won or not. But that's going to be really exciting. Sunday and Monday Fandom. We're going to be back here next Tuesday, same time, same bat channel. Also, Nerdgasm, new episode this Saturday. Kurt Kolakowski versus Joe Harrison. So that should be a very interesting match in Nerdgasm as we build to the next title match. And also, guys, have you seen the dope ass designs on TeePublic? Because if you haven't, Multiplex got a shit ton of beautiful shirts for you to buy. So if you want to check any of those out, lots of teams' names, stuff for the shows on the channel, check it out. And also check out the podcast feed where you can get all of these shows. Absolutely. Multiplex Entertainment. Caleb,
and
you had something else?
And on Sunday, Multiplex Miscellaneous Episode 2 going to be live. So we will space out time so you can watch the team title and then tune in live on Sunday night for Multiplex Miscellaneous. You might be able to be on the show live and play. So the post should be going up sometime this week, sometime towards the second half of this week, where you can sign up for it. And then on the show, be watching live. Brooklyn will call your name. You come play. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys next week for another episode of Multiplex Loves Movies. Until then, Have a good one. Caleb, take us out.
Not quite my tempo.
I'm gonna make him an offer, Captain.
Yeah.